welcome to the Hooked on Needles podcast. My name is Maricela, or Mari if you prefer. Today is October 2nd, and this is episode 36. It's been a little while since I've recorded. I actually recorded last week and somehow deleted the footage. So here I am again. I hope you're all doing well. I have gotten the sewing bug. It bit me quite hard and I've been enjoying it. And it's been fun. I also am a little surprised at all of the ironing that comes with sewing. It's a lot of ironing, but if you want it to look nice, you take the time to do it. So anyways, let's jump in with finished objects. I'll talk about the first one, which is hanging here. I was bored the other day. I just wanted to relax. And so I opened up one of my stitch dictionaries, or I think it was like a motif beyond the triangle or beyond the square, something like that. I got it like forever ago on ebook, and so I decided to take a look at that. I found this pattern that I liked, and so I made these little like flower snowflake things. So yeah, that's the first thing. And then I also ended up looking up a tutorial for a basket, and I used t-shirt yarn, and I couldn't find the video again when I was looking for it, and I don't know what the person doing the tutorial was saying because it was not a language I understood. And so I just looked at her hands and did the best I could to follow them, and this is what I came up with. And this is just a small little basket that goes in our bathroom because it matches our soap dispenser. And it was actually quite nice to work with, and to do the stitch. Like I said, I've never done it before, and I love the way it looks. So yay! And then I made another bag that's just a drawstring bag, and I just wanted to keep on using up my cotton that I have, and my daughter chose the colors, and so I used Lily's Sugar and Cream. I always say Sugar's Lily and Cream. I don't know why, but that's not the correct name. Anyways, I used Lily's Sugar and Cream. This is color Tea Rose, and I don't know the other two. But I just did a double crochet base. Started off with probably 10 or 12 stitches and increased until I got the width that I liked. And then I just alternated double crochet stitches and single crochet, and this is in US terms because I know British, it's a different stitch. So yeah, that's all I did. And like I said, drawstring, yeah. And then from the leftovers, I ended up making a little coin pouch thing, backpack for my son. And this is using like tapestry. I believe it's like a tapestry technique. Although no, it isn't. This one isn't tapestry. I made him this little pouch that is just single crochet, and like I said, it's from the leftovers of the bag that I made, and I did put like little straps to make like a little backpack, even though it just holds his coins, because he does chores around the house, and we usually pay him in quarters for about every chore that he does. So yeah, and he wanted something to keep him in, so I made him this. And then I wanted to relax and kind of get away from stuff, because I had been sewing a lot and I didn't really want to pick up my projects that I had. So I was like, what's quick and easy and something I could do in one day? So I have been wanting to do this technique. I've done it before, but it was like a really, really long time ago. And so I really wanted to give it another try. And this is either in Tapestry Crochet. Some people call it mochila. Other people call it wayu. So you decide what you want to call it. But it's really nice to do. I was very relaxed when I was doing this. And I totally loved the finished product. So I made this little bag for a little girl in my life. I don't know which little girl. I have quite a few little girls in my life, but I thought this was adorable. I used a tutorial from Happy Ganchillo. I don't think she has English subtitles, but if you're a crocheter, you'll look at her hands and you'll know what she's doing. And I kind of made a boo-boo where usually this technique, you only work in the back loop of the stitch. So you get this little ridge thing going. And that's what I was doing. And then I forgot and picked up the entire stitch and then realized. And so then I went back to it because I just didn't want to redo that whole section. And this is also... as you work, you also hide the second strand within your stitches. You can kind of see it through there, like the pinkish color. You can kind of see it through the blue. And so usually it's worked even from the beginning. You add the rest of your strands that you're going to work with. But seeing as it's only for a little girl and it doesn't really need to be ridiculously sturdy, I just kind of left it and added it just in this section. And everything else, it's just one single strand. But it was really, really nice to do. The most difficult and annoying part of this whole thing was this. Was braiding this little thing to use as the pull string, because I ended up cutting really, really long strands of yarn and then braiding it together, and that was a pain because it kept getting tangled up. So that was the most difficult thing, but I'm really, really happy with it. I think the end result is beautiful, and I really hope that the little girl that gets it, whomever that is, really enjoys it. And the strap, I did just a regular chain stitch using all of the colors, all 4 colors on there. And for this, I also used Lily's Sugar and Cream. And I do have these colors, so I will show them to you. This is color Jute, Tangerine, Dazzle Blue, and Hot Green. And yeah, like I said, if you're a crocheter and you haven't done this technique, I highly recommend it. It is quite fun to do, in my opinion. So I hope you give it a try, and hopefully you'll like it. And then I also feel like I haven't really made anything for myself. So I decided that I wanted something quick that I could just have done. So I was going through my needles and I saw that I have a, I don't know, like 40-inch cable of the size 2.75 millimeter. And I also have them in the 9-inch circular, the same size. And I am a much tighter knitter than I used to be. So I kind of felt like if I use those, they're gonna, with sock yarn, it's going to end up very, very loose. And so I didn't really want to do that. So I found some DK weight yarn and used those needles to make some socks. Although they're not completely done, they don't have heels in. I'm going to do an afterthought heel to see, to give it a chance again. And so I just used scraps of DK, and yeah, here they are. And these I just want to lounge around the house because they should be rather warm. And so I will be putting in those. So this is kind of an unfinished object just because it doesn't have heels, but hopefully it won't take me very long to put heels in. And finished objects of sewing. Like I said, I got the sewing bug, and I don't usually keep my machine out. So I usually have to put up the pedal that comes with it, the presser foot, is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Whatever, the thing you step on to make the machine go. But so I usually put it away, and so I made a little drawstring bag to put it in when I put it away, and it fits perfectly in here. And I found a tutorial. I'll see if I can find it again and I'll link it, but it's very easy. And I just used, like I said, all of my fabric is pretty much like old. I don't really think I buy much fabric. Although this one I did buy because there was a really ridiculous sale and I really liked it. And this one I am in love with, although I made a boo-boo, but that's okay. So I made this, and this pattern I got from Never Not Knitting. I had shown you this one that I made before, and so this is just the bigger version of it. And look at this beautiful fabric. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me see. Over here. On this side, can you tell that this is a peacock? It's so pretty. I love it. Look at them. So my boo-boo was that I put the bag or the pocket on the outside instead of on the inside. It should have gone here, but I totally blanked and just put the pocket in the wrong spot, but that's fine. It still works, and yeah, I love it. I don't know what fabric I used. I just know I really liked it, and so I got it. And yeah, like I said, it was on sale, and why not? So I did make 2 more of these, but I am gifting them. I gave one to my sister for her birthday, and then I made one for a friend of mine whose birthday it was. And so I don't want to show you those. Maybe in a future podcast I will put a picture of them. but as of right now, just know that I made 2 other ones of those. And I made them all at the same time, so they all have the same boo-boo where I put the pocket on the outside. And then I ended up making some bags because I wanted to practice with my zippers, and I still have a lot of practicing to do, but I really like them. I found this fabric a long time ago. I got it all at once. So I had bought like thinking that they were all gonna go together. So I have this pretty little lining, and I used the same main fabric and then alternated the linings and the contrast color at the bottom. So the lining that's inside is on the outside here, and vice versa. And I added handles to them. The pattern, I used Hugh Loco's on YouTube, and she gives you a printable pattern, and then, but I don't think hers come with handles, so I just kind of made them because I like to walk around and knit or crochet, and so I like having a handle so that I can do it much easier. And for zipper pulls, I just used leftover cotton yarn that I had that I thought matched with the little contrasting or popping sharks, and I love it. I still have a lot of work to do, like I said. My stitches are not always very straight, and I also messed up here because I was supposed to cut it to make a square bottom or rectangular bottom. So this is what it should have looked like. And when you stand it up, I did interface, but I only interfaced the outside of it. I didn't interface the lining because I don't think it needs to be super stiff. But anyway, so then this one I cut the opposite way, and so I just got a rounded bottom, but not, I mean, like, it can stand up, but that's because of the interfacing, not really because of the way I cut it. So that was a mistake. My sewing is not straight up here. I went off. I think it's there. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. But yeah, so these are just little things that I'm making notes to myself about. Mental notes and sticky notes. But they do stand. Both of them stand, like I said, because of the interfacing. So they're both nice. I can pop in a ball or two of yarn in there and have them hold my yarn. And so they were nice. I really liked the fact that I was able to get 2 bags out of I used 3 fat quarters, and so I was able to get 2 fully lined bags. So that was nice. And yeah, that is what I have. And what I've been working on, I added very few rows. I guess from last time I showed you guys, now I have the socks for my uncle. They have heels, which I use the OMG heel by Megan Williams because I just love that heel. And I'm doing a 2x2 rib on the top. And I was watching Andy from 10,000 Stitches, and she was saying that when she does a rib of any sort, she usually starts like this one's a 2x2. So she will do the first stitch as a knit and then move on to 2 purls and then 2 knits and continue, so that the last stitch also is a knit. And she says she does that to try and keep, because there will be a little bit of a step up when you start your ribbing. And so she says that kind of helps prevent it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm liking it. I think it really does help. That's my beginning right there, and it does, like, you can barely see that there's any step up. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I never thought about that or heard about that, so I decided to give it a go. But yeah, so these are almost there. I did switch them to 2 at a time once I got to the ribbing, because I want to use as much of the yarn as possible, and so I want to make them a little bit longer. And yeah, and then I have also been working on the socks that will be for my father-in-law. I now have 2 of them. I stopped here for the heel, and so then now I have a second one, and so I have worked up. And I was actually working on this when I went to one of my kids' like after school activities, and I was chatting with a mom, and she was making me laugh because she kept looking down at my hands. Like, I wasn't looking down, but she would be talking to me, and then she would look down and would kind of make like the "what is she doing" kind of face, and then look at me like, "Why aren't you looking down? How are you doing this?" type thing. And I just kept on knitting. I was like, if she's gonna ask me, she's gonna ask me. If not, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna keep going. And so that's what happened. And so just seeing how people react around me when I'm knitting and not looking at my knitting, it always makes me laugh, because they're thinking, like I would have been the same, like, how is that even possible before I started knitting? And now it's just like second nature, like, okay, come on. I think we can all, if we are, we've been knitting for a little bit, I think knitting in the round should be rather easy for everybody. But maybe I'm just making assumptions. I don't know. But to me it is. So I just thought that was hilarious. Oh, I have another sewing finished object. I made this one. This is a different style Japanese knot bag. And this I have shown you before. I have a friend who had made me a couple of these. And this one I'm super proud of because I did it by myself. I followed the pattern, although it was all from memory because I didn't remember the pattern. Like, we printed it out. It was from a free blog somewhere, so we just printed it out, and then I came home with the printed pattern, but it doesn't have the directions on there, so I just kind of went on by what I remembered, and I did a good job. The only downside that I find with this pattern is that you have to put, like, you close it up here, and so you have to kind of nest them into each other, and so then you do get that line there, which I'm just being nitpicky, I guess. But it is reversible, and these fabrics were chosen by my daughter, and I love them. So it's a round bottom, and like I said, Japanese knot bag, so you put the long handle inside the small handle, and then it hangs on your hand, and usually my yarn comes out of here. So I am loving it. Like I said, the sewing bug bit. So yeah, and I am really enjoying everything that I'm doing right now. And then, okay, so I was really hoping that I was going to be able to finish up a shawl for my sister, which I had mentioned that I wanted to make her. Her birthday was towards the end of last month, and I wasn't able to finish it because I ripped it out. I don't even know how many times. I started off with the Pebble Beach. I got about 30% of it done, and then realized that that yarn with that pattern were just not meant to be. And so I frogged it, And then I thought, well, maybe a regular scarf with like some pattern will work. Didn't like it, ripped it out. Well, maybe an infinity scarf would work. So I cast on, worked a couple rows, didn't like it, ripped it out. Okay, maybe a like mesh shawl somehow would work. So I made that, got quite a bit done. Nope, ripped it out. And then finally I was like, what is a pattern that I know just kind of showcases the beauty of the yarn and yet looks good and is not terribly difficult? So then I remembered that I had made the Close to You shawl by Justina. I can't say her last name. So that's what I stuck with, and that's what I'm making. And this is what I have so far. Although I thought I was only going to be able to do 18 of these peaks, but looking at how much yarn I have left, chances are I'm probably going to go to 20 to 22 peaks, because I'm using a lot less yarn than I thought. And I am using Malabrigo sock in the color Caribeño, and I am loving it. I think it is coming out beautifully, and I hope she likes it. So yeah, I don't know how many peaks I'm at. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I'm at 16 peaks, and like I said, I'm probably going to go to 20 to 22. So I don't have many repeats left, but they do get longer, so it does take more time. But yeah, I am enjoying doing this, and I want to finish it because I really want to get back to my derecho. I can't wait to wear that one. It's going to be super, super cozy and big and just so yeah. All right, and then oh, that's it. That's all I have. Nothing else has been happening. I also feel like I didn't do a lot. I feel like I could have done more, only because I was sick for about a week with migraines. It felt like I got one every other day, and I get the kind of migraines that come with nausea and vomiting and sensitivity to sounds and light. So it's like full on migraines, and I hate it. I really hate it because I am a pretty happy, perky, outgoing type of person. And when I get headaches, like I just shut down. Like I always tell my family that it's like a freight train, just kind of like hits you and takes you away, and you just don't even know what happened. Because I like to play with my kids and joke around, and you know, I try to make it as happy a home as I can. And when I get the migraines, I just can't. Like, I have to tell my son to calm down. I'm pretty sure I've talked about them before, and it doesn't get any easier as they get older. Like, you would think it would hurt less to tell them to sit down and just keep quiet and don't make any noise or talk to me. Like, it's just horrible. I hate it. It's one of the worst things ever, I think. And yeah, so that just, that whole week I was just feeling terrible and mad at the situation, just because like there's nothing I can really do to prevent them, because they just happen whenever the heck they feel like coming on. I don't know. I wish there was a real way of testing what brings on a migraine, but there isn't. And when you go to the doctor and they give you like this huge list of what could make you sick and get a migraine, is just ridiculous. You're like, so breathing could bring on a migraine? Like, what the heck? It it makes me really, really angry. But anyways, now that I have ranted enough about that, I do apologize. Migraines suck. Anyways. Okay, so I had signed off, but then I realized that after talking about migraines and being angry, I don't want to leave on an angry note. So, what also happened since last time is that my husband got to take a couple vacation days, and it was wonderful because that's why so much sewing was able to happen, because the weekend that he came home before taking his days off, we went to a get-together for my friend's birthday, and I really wanted to give her the bag that I then sewed. Like, I hadn't sewn it yet. It was cut and it just needed to be sewn, but time got away from me and I just wasn't able to get it done. So I was really bummed out. I did get her something else, but you know, I wanted it to be like a full package thing. And so he knew that I was really bummed out that I wasn't able to give that to her. So on Monday, he was off work and the kids were out of school. And so he was like, you know what? Today I'm locking you in the room. And I was like, why? Why am I being locked in the room? And he was like, you need not worry about anything. The kids will be fed. The house will be cleaned. Don't worry. All you get to do today is be in this room and finish your projects. Because he saw that, you know, like everything was laid out. And like I said, I made 3 bags and then some. And so everything was cut. Everything was stacked, ironed nicely, like just ready to get sewn. So he was like, you've been working really hard on this. Just do it. Just get it done. And then that way you can feel better and we're not going to have everything laying out. So I was like, okay. So thanks to him, I was able to do all of this sewing. He, like I said, he loves to cook. Cooking is just something that he is very passionate about, and he is so good at it. And so he cooked up a delicious lunch and dinner and breakfast and everything. And he ended up making a pasta that requires egg yolks. So he had a lot of egg whites left, and he does not like to waste stuff. So he was like, okay, daughter, since your mom's in there and you're just sitting here, you need to do something with these egg whites. So she looked up a recipe and she made some meringue and baked it and made them into like meringue cookies or whatever. And oh my God, you guys, those things are the devil only because they're so delicious. Like, you eat it and you're like, how is this even possible? Like, it's so delicious, and they were so fluffy, and it was just like, I don't know, it was so good. So that was such a wonderful day to not have to cook, be able to craft, and then also get dessert. And he made me tea. Like, seriously, y'all. He was like, okay, well, now since you've been working in there, dinner's ready. Like, he would just call me out when a meal was ready. And then at the end of the day, he was like, here, I went ahead and made you some tea, and, you know, daughter made these, so go ahead and have some. And I was like, okay. And I was just, thank you, husband. I always tell him thank you, and I always tell him I appreciate him, but some feelings words just can't describe, like how grateful I am, because I feel very lucky and blessed to have him. So yeah, but he was awesome. And then he also got some stuff done around the house, so that was really nice too. And yeah, it was just really nice having him home. Sucked when he had to go back to work, but you know, so is life, so it's fine. And yeah, so now that I'm happy and not angry anymore, I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. I very much appreciate it. I hope you all keep going with your crafts and are enjoying it, and hasta la próxima.